Hey, what up, Nerd Squad? Thanks for stopping back in. Got another little bullshit assessment for you. Today, I want to talk about Wandavision. Now that we have wrapped it up, it is currently probably about 2:30 in the morning, my local time. I just got done watching the finale of Wandavision. I'm not sure if they're going to consider this the series finale or the season finale. I'm not sure if they've really stipulated which, or if it potentially is just going to kind of act as the bridge of content leading into the next Doctor Strange movie. Not entirely sure, but we got it wrapped up. If you guys remember, I did do a no bullshit assessment on episodes 1 and 2 when they first came out. And then I kind of held off doing the next 7 episodes. I didn't want to just put one out every time an episode came out. And so I decided to wait until it was over and just kind of give my thought on it as a whole. But yeah, like I said, I just finished it, and I am very pleased with it. I thought it was awesome. I thought it was fantastic. I thought the way it evolved and into the way it ended were phenomenal. So definitely for me, it gets a hefty thumbs up in my opinion. When I first did the no bullshit assessment on episodes 1 and 2, I talked pretty heavily to you guys about how I wasn't really thrilled with it. It hadn't really hooked me yet. A lot of it had to do with the style of it being kind of set like in the older time and whatnot. And I wasn't super familiar going into the series why it was the way that it was filmed to have that older feel to it and stuff. But as the episodes went on, it made a lot more sense what they were doing with it. So it definitely became very enjoyable for me. And I said in the first video that what really changed it for me and kind of turned the tide and got me into this was watching a lot of videos from Screen Crush and Heavy Spoilers and stuff like that on YouTube, because they do the full-blown deep dives and they're pulling Easter eggs out of every scene and stuff like that. So it was very, very enlightening to see what they had to say about it, and that made me excited for it. So once I started to kind of get the concept down a lot better, I was hooked, and for me, I couldn't wait every week for it to come out. And when it had started, I waited till the next day to watch it, this, that, and the other. But after we got past the first couple episodes, I was doing the burning the midnight oil and staying up and watching it. So I really, really enjoyed it and the way that it evolved. One thing with this too is that I was never, before it, I wasn't really a huge, I wouldn't say fan. I just wasn't that familiar, I guess, with Wanda or Vision's characters beyond what was kind of seen in the Avengers. I didn't really follow them in any of the comics and the House of M storyline and stuff of that nature. So this was cool because this hooked me in as far as the show goes, but it also forced me into doing the research and really looking into what the storylines were and, the stuff with the children and all that stuff. So it was really cool. And I'm actually really glad that I did and was able to take the time to get to be more familiar with it. And the more and more that I kind of learned about it, the more I got excited every week for the episodes. So it was really cool. And big shout out to those guys that do those reviews and those Easter egg hunts and stuff like that on these videos, because they definitely were what got me into it. And I think if I had just watched the first 2 episodes and then kind of just didn't really look into what was really going on, I may not have sat through it. I may have waited, and then eventually once all the hype kind of swung back around of everybody else talking about it, I maybe would have jumped on and then, been late to the party. But this was awesome. This was super, super cool. I'm really curious to see where they go moving forward. I've seen a lot of stuff over the last 7 weeks of people talking about it. It's the #1 rated show and this, that, and the other. So I'm curious to see if on the business side of things, is that going to create a need or a want for a second season of this, or will it just roll into the movies like I was saying? Either way, I'm okay with it. This to me, and I've said this in some of the other stuff that I've reviewed as far as like Star Wars stuff and what they're doing currently on Disney Plus, that it's just not disappointing. So if they do another season, I'll be super excited to see it. If it just rolls straight into the movies and stuff, then same thing. I'm super excited for those too. So definitely would suggest watching this if you haven't. Hopefully you're here because you have watched it and you just kind of want to, hear someone else talk about it or whatever. But I would suggest it. And I've had a couple friends tell me the same thing. They watched the first couple episodes and they weren't into it. And so I kind of had to give them the the same advice that I, took for myself in watching tons and tons of extra content to get familiar with the story and what was going on, and why each episode was kind of mirrored after a different era of TV and what it led to. And I think the series and the writers and everybody that works behind the scenes on this thing, this was awesome. And I did say in the last video too that it was very much an Easter egg hunt, and it really was. Every episode had so much stuff in it that is stuff that I would have never even known about. And again, it took me watching stuff on other channels to figure out what it is, what the importance of it is, and what could that possibly mean moving forward. But it made it fun, though. It was really kind of fun week to week having to do the fill-in stuff and watch the fan theories and say, seeing in all this stuff like what's going to happen next. Well, there's a potential of this, there's a potential of that. It could lead into potentially the X-Men and this, that, and the other. And so it really kept the attention even during the week when the episode wasn't out yet, when you were waiting for the next one, what's going to happen next, and who's, are we going to get these character reveals and stuff like that. And I just think it was really, really well done. And I wish I would have been excited about it from the beginning, and it kind of makes me think that as we move forward with some of this new content being created, to do the research ahead of time so that when I know, they're planning for this series or that series, I just need to start looking into it ahead of time because they're obviously doing it very, very well. And this is a definite testament to that it was something that I was not excited about, that I was kind of even thinking like I might not even watch this. I just wasn't hyped for it. And then by week 2, I was completely hooked. But again, for me, that took a lot of extra stuff. And I'm sure a lot of you out there that are the hardcore original fans of this stuff were excited from day one, knew what the story was and where it was going and how it was going to evolve. And I'm curious to see what a lot of people say, if it met their expectations. Did it exceed their expectations, or did it disappoint? And I think we may see a handful of people out there disappointed, because I know there was a lot of talk about cameos or bringing, certain characters in. I think at one point somebody had said there was going to be a Luke Skywalker-esque level of character introduced by the end of this thing. And I think some people might say we didn't get that. We didn't really get additional characters added in, but it definitely, from what I can tell, and again, I'm not a subject matter expert on these two characters, it definitely went along with the comics pretty well for the most part, I think, in some of the snippets and stuff that I've seen and read leading up to the end of it. And again, I'm not going to do a full-blown extraction of the episode and stuff, because I know those other guys are going to do it, and they're going to do it very, very well. So I would suggest definitely checking those out if you guys aren't already. But yeah, I'm super pleased with it. I thought it was fantastic. I definitely will probably make it through the series at least one more full time. It's not that many episodes, which is kind of nice. So I definitely will probably, when I get some time, sit down and try to binge it pretty straight through and just see how much different it feels watching it again, knowing all the stuff that I know from the research that was done and how it did end up, working out and playing out, and what the characters were and who they were and what they were doing within the story. But I'm excited to see what people have to say. I don't know that there will be that much disappointment with it. I think they did a really good job with this. And like I said, as far as my take on it and my opinion and my no bullshit assessment is, hands down, watch it. Even if you are not a fan of these two characters from the Avengers movies and stuff, and they kind of didn't seem like main staples of it, this is 100% worth watching. This was really, really cool. It was a really good story. The performances by Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany were incredible. Episode to episode, it was, I don't know, it was really, really, really good. Elizabeth Olsen in this, I feel like she did an amazing job at almost playing dual roles, in my opinion. And I think that was kind of obviously the point of this, but she played every single episode of this picture perfect to the era that it was supposed to be kind of making, not really fun of, but what timeline it was mirroring, whether it was the Modern Family type episode, or the, I Love Lucy type episode. She played those characters perfectly while also maintaining the kind of back and forth that the times that she dipped into actual Wanda, of like the reality for herself as Wanda, and back to those characters within the storyline. It was really, really cool. It was awesome. I can't say enough good stuff about it. Like I said, I think overall, watch it. It's awesome. If you guys are interested in any of this kind of stuff, which I'm assuming you are, since you're here watching, and I appreciate you guys stopping in, you got to watch it. It is really, 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 really good. But yeah, I don't want to take too much more of your time up, guys, but I do appreciate you guys stopping in. I'm excited to see where we go from here. I'm a little bummed though that that it's over, and I think that's normal. People, you want to see what happens in the end, but then when it ends, it's definitely kind of a bummer. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Hit me up on Instagram. Leave me a comment down here on the video. You can catch me, like I said, on Instagram, Sector 7 Podcast on Instagram. Give me a follow there. Also subscribe to the channel. I'll be trying to put out quite a bit of content moving forward, and keep you guys in the loop on everything, and give you guys some more no bullshit assessments on stuff. If there's anything specific you guys want me to cover, different topics, anything you want a no bullshit assessment on, send me a message or leave a comment, all that good fancy stuff. But anyway, like I said, I don't want to keep you too long, and it's super late where I'm at, so I'm rambling. But anyway, that's all I got for you today, guys. Same as always, stay safe out there. Try to be good to each other, and we'll see you in the next one. See you.